This is so disgusting. Meghan Markle is already cashing in on her royal return before the royal return has even been entirely agreed. And this should be a major warning to King Charles.
I don't think that Meghan has earned her place back into a royal household and under the same roof as the British royal family.
The king is not doing her any service by trying to give in to Harry and Meghan. The best thing he can do is to really show these two what they have done, to break them so that they can learn something.
If the royal family truly inflicted the level of harm Harry and Meghan have alleged over the years, why is reconciliation such a priority? That's the question I think a lot of people are asking. Their continued pursuit of meetings with the family.
What an insult. What a slap in the face to the British people that, having negotiated their departure from the royal family, they will be staying in a royal palace when they come to the UK in July.
I am so shocked. I am so angry. I've been stumping up and down with my anger.
They called Britain racist. They trashed the family on Netflix and in a book that sold millions. And now they want to sleep under a royal roof, paid for by you. The king said yes, and what happens next could finish the monarchy for good.
Imagine bringing her in the presence of the king, what she's going to come out with. It is going to be so bad for, I think, the king. He is making a big mistake, and some people around him know it.
The moment that news broke, something snapped in people. Not disappointment, rage. The Duke and Duchess of Sussex are coming back to the UK in July, and they won't be checking into a hotel like ordinary visitors. They'll be put up on royal property, royal security, courtesy of the king himself. One word kept coming up over and over from thousands of people watching this unfold. Weak, spineless, no backbone.
Harry and Meghan definitely do not get it, and they never will, because they're not getting the consequences that they need to be better. And that is what the king does not understand, because he's too soft.
One viewer summed up the mood in a single line that got hundreds of thousands of reactions. Charles has failed his people, the institution, and the memory of his own mother. Others went further. Force him to abdicate. Hand the crown to William now, before there's nothing left to hand over. And look who's saying it.
And I think William is just the man for the job. He really, really is. He is making some different choices, and changes are going to be coming. It's going to all be good. And I just can't wait for that day to happen, because it's going to be like no monarch in the past. It's going to be completely different, aligned with our times now, and that's always going to be something nice to see. And his approval ratings will continue to go up, because he's always ready to do the right thing.
These are royalists, monarchists, the people who defend the crown no matter what. They're the ones turning on their king.
This, unfortunately, and I do not celebrate this. Everyone should know by now, one of the reasons I'm sometimes critical of the British royal family is because I am such a royalist and I am such a monarchist. But this new poll shows that support for the monarchy is actually at its lowest levels in 30 years. And this was reported by the Daily Telegraph, again, a pro-monarchy newspaper.
One lifelong supporter admitted this single decision made her rethink everything. Another put it flat: he's no king of mine. That's how deep this cuts. But here's what nobody's saying out loud. The reason Harry and Meghan are really coming back has nothing to do with love. It's about survival.
I think it's less about family relationships. Otherwise, Thomas Markle would have received a phone call within the last few weeks, and more about Harry and Meghan continuing to milk the monarchy.
Follow the money. Once you do, the whole thing makes sense. They're broke, not struggling, broke in the way that ends careers.
Why are they coming?
Well, I think they want to ask for money because they're saying broke now. And I think that they're going to let the children's faces be shown. And if that's shown with the king there, it's going to make a load of money.
The word coming out of Montecito is brutal. Warehouses full of product nobody's buying. Inventory said to be worth around $5 million sitting in storage. Jam slowly going out of date.
This is after reports that she's got $5 million worth of inventory that she's having a hard time selling. And it does seem to me that her strategy is very whiplashy.
And whispers of bankruptcy circling the whole operation. So the theory, repeated by viewer after viewer, is simple. They want money. That's the trip.
She is, I think, on the brink of even a bankruptcy they're talking about, because there's warehouses of these products that are going to expire. And so this invitation, I think, comes at a good time for her to try to maximize sales around, royalty, true royalty.
One person typed it in capital letters so there'd be no confusion, but it gets darker because Harry isn't approaching a healthy, powerful father. He's approaching a man living with cancer, a man who knows his own time is limited, who wants one thing before it's too late, his family back together.
She's using the children, playing on the emotional sensibilities of the king. And because of, as you say, he's recovering from cancer, he's aware of his own mortality.
And the accusation flying around the comments is ugly, that Harry is squeezing a dying father for an inheritance. One viewer called it what they believe it is, elder abuse. Believe that or don't. But look at the pattern. No phone call to Thomas Markle. No reaching out to the grandfather who just had his leg amputated. One sharp comment said it best. Thomas Markle doesn't get to see his grandchildren because Thomas Markle doesn't have King Charles' money. This isn't a son missing his dad. It's a rescue mission, and she gave it away within hours.
I would argue it's more than one big game. For Meghan, this is about commercial survival. And the fact that she's done this so early rather than actually waiting for confirmation, waiting to get everything agreed, shows how desperate she is to move this product.
The second those headlines leaked, Meghan dropped a glossy little post about summer entertaining. Summer invitations, she wrote, have a way of arriving all at once. Then came the pitch. Bring a bottle of her wine to your next gathering. A giftable box of her fruit spreads, chocolates for the table. The visit isn't even confirmed. Nothing's agreed. And she's already turned the rumor into a checkout cart. People saw straight through it. She's selling off the headlines.
Meghan Markle pushed out a was never propaganda ad for the summer hostess with words that read, "Summer invitations have a way of arriving all at once. Oh, we see what you're doing, Meghan, and this is just gross."
Using the royal connection, she publicly torched to move expiring product before it rots in those warehouses, and the mockery was merciless. Viewers tore the post apart line by line. The photography unappetizing, the food styling off-putting, the writing bloodless. The whole thing uncanny to the point of unsettling. One called it a complete and utter failure.
She treats brand building like speed dating. Jam's not working, moves over to matcha, and there is that lack of patience and discipline that you were just describing.
Another spotted the richest irony of all. She's lecturing the world about the joy of a table that grows as more friends arrive, when half her critics doubt she's ever actually had a single couple over for dinner at that Montecito mansion. Now hold all that next to Catherine. Around the very same time, the Princess of Wales spoke about love. Quiet love, unconditional, built on time and patience, not, in her words, over-sentimental gestures. Sources say that line wasn't an accident. It was a blade.
I'm not talking about over-sentimental and romantic gestures. Let's just compare that now immediately to the email that Meghan Markle sent out, which is all about over-sentimentality and spending money, and that's how you deliver love.
One woman sells you the feeling of warmth. The other one just has it, which is exactly why people can't let go of the next question.
Whereas, and the way to do it is to work hard, head down, and just say, believe in your product. Make sure you road tested the product. Make sure you absolutely think it's something good that people want, and you expand piece by piece by piece. Instead, she sort of foisted it on us, and I don't think it's selling well.
The one about those two children. I'll be straight with you. A lot of this is suspicion, not proof. But it's what your fellow viewers are saying in overwhelming numbers. So here it is, no sugarcoating. There's a loud, relentless demand. Before those children are accepted as royal, test their DNA. Comment after comment, the same 3 letters. Some are calling them rent-a-kids, surrogate-born, and in their words, not truly royal at all. A few even claim the children look nothing like they did a year ago, as if the faces keep changing. Then came the polo claim that blew up everything. One viewer swears they watched Meghan hold what looked like a doll for hours in the blazing sun. No feeding, no changing, no hat, not one movement the entire time. And the detail that gave everyone chills had nothing to do with the baby. It was Catherine. She never went near her that day. Not once. To these viewers, that silence said it all. Worse, they claim Meghan actually waved little George off when the boy wandered over to peek at the newborn. A child, curious about a baby, sent away. Their verdict landed like a verdict. She knows. Speculation, of course.
Absolutely. And you know where Catherine gets it so right, P. Dana? She knows how to subtly separate herself from Meghan and what Meghan is doing. And I think she's biting back in a brilliant way. So you probably know that last week she penned this personal essay about the need for love and genuine human connection as children battle an increasingly digital world.
But here's what's harder to wave away. The Sussex children always seem to appear barefoot, a little unkempt, faces turned from the camera, the exact opposite of the polished, posed Wales children.
And of course, why are they doing it? Because of course they know that William and Catherine have done it, so they have to put something out, and theirs just looks tacky. Now, of course, you know, the children are hugging Harry. Well, that's a lovely, in theory, but again,
so one of them, of course, is barefoot. Do these children own shoes?
Well, clearly not.
And the line that landed hardest of all, that these kids are human shields, bargaining chips, wheeled out precisely because nobody will dare boo a woman holding a child's hand. Even that tender Father's Day photo got shredded.
I should say, that have written me and said they feel like Meghan is using the children as a human shield, so she isn't held accountable for her actions. You know,
well,
go ahead.
Yeah, in a way, that's exactly the point, because she's using the children, playing on the emotional sensibilities of the king.
Viewers noticed the clothes the children wore were quietly listed for sale online. A tribute to Dad, doubling as a shopping catalog.
I think Meghan has gone through this storytelling and manipulation so long that she doesn't even know how to get to something that is real and authentic anymore.
And the eagle-eyed ones spotted something else in that same picture. Harry wasn't wearing his wedding ring. If people are this suspicious about the kids, picture how nervous the palace is about what else might be coming through the door. The paranoia in this story is something else. The most common advice to the king? Scan them. Worse, they claim Meghan actually waved little George off when the boy wandered over to peek at the newborn. Before any meeting, before any room, check them for hidden microphones. Some want the children checked too.
I don't see how they can, you know, they've had things in their coat, and they can take pictures, and actually I don't think it's worth the risking. Stay away from him.
Others are demanding NDAs signed before Harry gets within 10 feet of his father. Backdated, lawyers on standby, the full treatment.
Because there's no guarantee, they're not having to sign some NDA, right? So you're more than likely fueling even more, you know, negative points dropping, you know, more points dropping around, you know, support of the monarchy.
And the fear underneath it is one word: Netflix. Multiple voices claim a film crew is tagging along, that this whole trip is content. Raw footage for the next documentary, the next book, the next payday built on the family's pain.
What they have to make sure happens is nothing is leaked to any of their presses, so that the royal family believe that these private visits now can be conducted with that degree of privacy that should be respected, and if they want to build trust again with the royal family. Because if within 6 weeks stories come out, then they're toast.
One viewer flipped it, let the palace film the meeting themselves, and catch them red-handed. Here's the part that tells you everything. Harry himself is reportedly worried the royal residences are bugged. To which the public said the obvious thing: if you've got nothing to hide, why would that scare you? And it's not just outsiders against this. Word is Charles's own staff are split, reported disagreements inside the palace about letting them back at all.
What people have to realize is there is also a very deliberate push, and I do believe it is helped in some quarters by those within Buckingham Palace, or at least, how do I put it, a faction of the team in Buckingham Palace to constantly do down and deride William.
The king may be standing almost alone. The one person guaranteed to be against it isn't staff at all. It's his other son. William wants nothing to do with this, won't go near Harry, won't let Catherine within reach of Meghan. And the language around the rift is savage. Sources quoted in these discussions say Harry doesn't just dislike his brother, he despises him.
I think William will be horrified and furious. He won't go anywhere near him, I believe, and he won't let Catherine go anywhere near him. She won't want to go either. If Meghan wants to go up and be friendly, no chance. And he'll keep right out of it.
So the expectation is brutal in its simplicity. When Harry and Meghan land, the Wales family disappears. A perfectly timed holiday.
Close sources that know what's going on, that Harry, and I quote, effing hates his brother, detests his brother. Do you think, therefore, it's likely that the king will snub Harry too?
Norfolk, or out of the country entirely. Anywhere a camera can't force the photo everyone knows would be a lie. For the public, this is the real wound. Remember the promise when they walked away? Out means out. The deal was done. The late Queen, people are certain, would have been furious to see them welcome back through the front door.
What an insult. What a slap in the face to the British people that, having negotiated their departure from the royal family, they will be staying in a royal palace when they come to the UK in July.
I am so shocked. I am so angry. I've been stumping up and down with my anger because they've been so rude, both of them, him and Meghan. They've been so rude. They've been so nasty. They've told so many lies. And now they're going to take advantage of as much as they can. And it's just too shocking. It's awful.
And the demand keeps coming. Louder every week, strip the titles. If out means out, make it mean something. And the son who stayed, who did over 100 engagements, who held the family together while his wife and his father both faced cancer, he's the one being asked to swallow it. It got worse when a known critic of the monarchy dug up a decade-old insult and called William work-shy over how many ribbons he cuts.
To bring back this work-shy Wills tag. Now, this is a tag, P. Diner, that is a decade old. A decade old. And we have long moved on from it. Like, was anyone talking about work-shy Wills when his father and wife were undergoing chemotherapy at the same time, and he had to totally take the lead in holding the British monarchy together while holding his family together? Like, seriously.
The comments turned on him instantly. Quality, not quantity. The man chose his sick wife's birthday over a foreign funeral. To the people watching, that's not laziness. That's exactly the king they're praying for. But there's another scandal riding shotgun on this visit, and the veterans are quietly seething about it. Invictus, the games Harry built his whole comeback story on. The games people now say he's strangling. Sponsors are reportedly walking, one after another. There's open talk of tens of millions of dollars unaccounted for.
Perceived by some as being the Harry and Meghan show, plus they're losing sponsors left, right and centre.
Yes, because they don't like them anymore, and they don't like the fact that they're not doing what it's supposed to be, which is to let people who've actually been fighting for the country and who need to sort of build up their energy and their bodies. They don't really do that.
There's even a claim of a clothing budget, a charity for wounded soldiers, somehow needing a wardrobe stipend. And the people it's meant to serve feel like background extras in someone else's show. One memory keeps surfacing.
We, of course, have seen Meghan at Invictus events, but it's always with her at the centre stage, to the distraction, I think, of the people who it's really about.
Up past games, where Meghan reportedly strode out in front in very short shorts, ahead of the wounded soldiers on the walk, men and women for whom every single step was a battle. The veterans, people say, hated it, didn't want to follow her. The bitter nickname stuck, the Harry and Meghan show, or worse, the cartoon.
Meghan wore a very, very short shorts, and she sort of walked in front of everybody else. And the people who'd taken part in the walk, which is never easy for them because they've been damaged, she thought it was very funny and did that, and they hated it. They didn't want to follow her.
And it's not just her. Viewers point out Harry uses the Invictus stage to make political speeches, taking shots at the US president when, as they see it, that was never his job.
Plus, he makes those speeches at Invictus moaning about the state of the world, effectively criticising the US president, who I know is not everyone's cup of tea, but that's not his job to be political, but that's what Harry's like.
The games have been so toxified, people say, that nobody respectable even wants to take them over, so the fix being floated: hand it to someone who'd actually serve the cause. Mike and Zara Tindall, even David Beckham. Anyone who'd shove the veterans back to the center instead of running the whole thing as a personal brand.
If somebody like Mike Tindall or Mike and Zara Tindall were heading up the Invictus Games, maybe even Sir David Beckham, I personally think they would be more successful than Prince Harry.
And the question that cuts deepest of all: has anyone bothered to ask the wounded warriors if they even want them there? Now stack it all up. The money, the children, the bugging fears, the betrayed brother, the hijacked charity. It's all pouring into one cold number that should be keeping the palace awake. Support for the monarchy just hit its lowest point in over 30 years. Polling in a pro-monarchy newspaper shows backing for the crown down 11 points in 3 years.
This new poll shows that support for the monarchy is actually at its lowest levels in 30 years. And this was reported by the Daily Telegraph, again a pro-monarchy newspaper. And the figures are stark, P. Diner. The number of British people who still want the country to be a monarchy has dropped by 11 percentage points.
And among the young, it's not a slip, it's a collapse. Support among 18 to 34-year-olds has fallen off a cliff compared to a decade ago. Here's the line that ties the knot.
I believe Harry and Meghan are a liability to the future of the monarchy, and I think that the royal family should keep their distance, but I'm also not a psychic. You know what I mean?
Critics argue Charles is doing this damage to himself. First Andrew, now Harry.
Charles has damaged the support for the monarchy as a result of his dealings with Andrew and now Harry.
Two choices, back to back, each one chipping at the institution his son will one day inherit. William, they say, gets it. He's trying to guard the crown for the next generation by keeping these two locked out, and his father won't listen.
William is so conscious of this, P. Diner, and I think William believes that he can turn it around. But one of the ways that he thinks he can turn it around, P. Diner, is by keeping Harry and Meghan out of it, and allowing his young family and his young children to emerge and to become the young royals that younger generation associate with.
Not a total disaster, some say, but not a disaster isn't good enough. Not when you're handing down 1,000 years. And then there's the cruelest part of all. She might not even show up. We've seen this exact movie 6 years running, the Will She Won't She Dance.
I think there's quite a possibility that it might not come off. I hope not. But Harry's making a big sort of nonsense about it, isn't it? And making it a huge thing. And that's what is extremely upsetting.
Every year, the buzz builds that they're coming back. Every year, it quietly melts away. So a huge slice of people are convinced this is pure theater, and that's the manipulation. At the last second, a child conveniently falls ill, the trip collapses, and she walks away having squeezed weeks of free publicity out of all of us without ever boarding a plane. And here's the fact the angriest voices skip right over. Charles has offered Harry a palace on every visit for years. Harry keeps refusing, choosing hotels. Why a palace? Because the security's already there. It's cheaper for the taxpayer, not dearer. There's even a timing problem nobody's mentioning. The king is up in Scotland on official duties through early July, then straight off to Balmoral for his summer break.
He spends a week in Scotland, and normally it's about that time when he's at Holyrood Palace and doing events up there. And then he goes on, and the idea is then they go on to their summer holiday in the Scotland. So that tends to be the traditional way it works. So will he be in Scotland? So that's why I think they should be going up to Balmoral or wherever, which one of Prince Charles's, the king's houses. Well, he's got the castle next to Balmoral. Go and stay there. It's the most heavenly part of the world.
So as one viewer pointed out with a smirk, if Harry wants to see Pops, he's going to have to go to Scotland, which is exactly the point the calmer voices keep making. If this were a real private reconciliation, it would have happened quietly up in those Scottish hills, not in the middle of a roasting London summer with her name splashed across every front page. So which is it? A desperate grab for cash?
If they really wanted to do something discreet and the ultimate objective was reconciliation, it would have been quietly at Balmoral. It wouldn't be in the middle of a London summer when all of the headlines being generated out of Montecito are of Meghan's failed business ventures.
A dying father's last shot at peace, or a stunt that never even happens. Even the people closest to it can't agree. But everyone agrees on one thing. If Charles meets them, and one word leaks afterward, the trust is gone forever. That's the whole game. Stay silent or get burned again. I've dropped 2 videos right here on screen that go even deeper behind those palace doors. Tap the one pulling at you. I'll see you over there.